welcome to Lights Up, Lights Down. Today we're going to talk about the Mk1 MX5. I'm going to talk about the rear arch area and the rear sill area, which is where the MX5 rusts first and where most of the serious rust occurs. We've got two great examples in at the moment. We've got the red one, which is an original 89 import. Came here in about 98 and has never had any welding on it at all. So it gives us a perfect opportunity to explain and show how an original car should look. Whereas the silver car is a 94 UK car that has had a repair, I'm told, about 6 years ago, which was a bodge repair really. And we can show you how to spot that and the damage that can be caused by such a repair. What I'm going to do first of all is show you what you can see on the ground without lifting the car up in the air. To be honest with you, most of it you can see on the ground. We're just going to lift it up in the air to make it easier to show on the video. Now the first place to look, if you notice around the arch lip, you can see these dots. Each of these dots represent one of the original spot welds. You should see that go all the way around the arch lip. If you look up through here, you'll be able to see them all the way around. This is a really good sign. It shows that there's no filler in there and that this is an original car without any repairs. You can see that goes all the way down. You can see one there and another one just there. So that's a great sign showing you that this car has not received any welding at all and that it's completely original with no filler in it. Moving over to the silver car, you'll immediately notice no dots. No dots all the way around. Follow that all the way around the arch. There's no dots there at all. That can mean one of two things. One is it's been filled, and the other is that it's had a repair in the past, which isn't always a bad thing. Can be repaired properly. In this case it hasn't, and I'll show you more of that later on. Another area to look at with the car on the ground is this vertical seam. It should be there. Quite often it's been filled over and you can't see it. It should also be approximately 10 millimeters from here to there. We have seen in the past where it's been recreated with filler, but not always in the correct place. Moving back to the silver car, the seam is there, but you can see it's not quite as well defined. It's kind of not got a sharp edge to this, and it starts off as you would expect there with quite a sharp edge, and then it starts to radius off and the actual groove gets thinner towards the bottom, and underneath it's not there at all. That should run all the way to underneath, and on this car it actually vanishes at that point. Another thing that's also a warning sign is this black line should actually be higher. It should be nearer that radius point. It should be 2 or 3 mil below that. So we can see that this one being lower tells me also that something has happened to the car. It's not always here though, this black line. Some cars are colour coded, some aren't. But if you see one that's in the wrong place, again you need to be looking further to see if there's any other work's been done on the car. Also, this textured finish isn't as original. If you notice it on the red car, it's a more uniform finish. This has kind of got more texture to it than on the red car. So there are simple checks you can do without even lifting the car up in the air. Very easy to see, very simple to check. If you're looking at a car that's got sort of some of the features we're seeing on the silver car, you really need to be starting to delve a little bit deeper to try and find whether that repair's been done correctly or not. What I'm going to do next is lift both the cars up in the air, take the rear wheels off, and then we can have a bit of a closer look. Show you some of the things. You'll still be able to check these things with the car on the ground, but it's going to be easy for me to show you it with the cars up in the air. Okay, they're both now up in the air. With the wheel off and a bit of light on the area, you can see these spot welds even better now. You can also note how this is fairly uniform all the way around, not too wobbly. And if you get your fingers sort of around the lip, you'll be able to feel that it doesn't get too thick in any places. There's actually 2 layers of metal here, and what can happen is the rust will get in between and they'll start to bulge apart. So you'll start to feel these bulging. In this case, it's all very nice and not doing that. You can also see that it thins down here to sort of about 5mm at this point, and you've got this curve inside. That's where the outer panel actually comes sort of further in than the inner panel behind it. That's another really good sign to look for, because again it's showing that there's no filler in there. You can see that seam, you can see it's nice and defined, it's not starting to bulge apart. So what you're looking at is a car that's not got any rust issues and not got any filler in it. Moving over to the silver car. Immediately you can see a different shape. This is completely different, not anywhere near how it should be. You can even see obviously rust coming through. You can see that this distance is actually larger than on the other car, and as we pan the camera around you'll see that it's nowhere near as uniform as it, or straight as it goes round. And this at this point here is actually nearly 10mm, whereas it should be in the area of 5, and that changes as we go round. So a big difference, very easy to spot on the ground. When you look further into here, this is not as it was on the other car. It looks like it's actually some form of sealant that's been put on there. In fact it is, I can pick it out. Quite easy to see. Very easy to, just a simple check when you're looking at buying a car. There's another telltale sign, which is, as you look along here, this curves out to become flat at this point. You check the distance on this one. It's around about 20-25mm when it curves out to be at the same level. On this one we're looking nearer 50mm. So with that being so different, any panel that you buy would put that where it should be. So immediately, just by looking at that, I can tell that this car has a significant amount of filler in that area. Next area to check is get your eye line down this swage line here. Make sure if you line up directly on it, you can see that that line is perfect. It's running absolutely dead in line with the door, and it doesn't bulge out at any point. Silver car, you can already see, I'm hoping it's picking it up on the camera, but you can see from here it's starting to bulge out. It goes in at that point, and in actual fact it's not entirely straight with the door either. Now what we believe has been done to this car is that the replacement panel has actually been welded on over the top of the original. If you look closely, I'm hoping the camera can pick it out, but you can actually see scratch marks within the paint, and what that actually is that's will be sort of where the joint line is, and then it's been filled, and that filler has since sunk, and now you're seeing the scratch marks of when it was sanded before paint. Following on from talking about this seam here, it will actually carry on underneath, and then it actually carries on all the way along here and then returns round to that area there. What you'll also be able to see, it's not very visible in this car because it's an early car. The earlier cars had a little bit more stone chip in that area, but a lot of the time you can see the spot welds underneath. But if you can see this seam here, you already know that this is a good car. There's no filler in there. This line here is nice and straight. You see in the drainage points very easily. All excellent signs. If you put a straight edge on there, see that's nice and straight. There's not really any gap here, so we know that everything inside is good. We wouldn't have any reason to suspect any issues anyway. This is so well defined. All round here is so well defined that we'd have no reason to look any further. On this one, you can already see that there's quite a gap here. What that tells us is that most likely the structural seal that is behind this part is starting to become weak, and when the car's being jacked up, it's starting to deform the outer lip. Where I mentioned the line earlier, this one here, you can see it's completely disappeared, and then there's nothing along here. So this, what I think they've done here is they've folded a new lip round because the original lip was so far rotten that they've brought this round onto there. So what we will expect is once this is cut open, the inside is rotting away. Okay, this is underneath the red car. This, you'll be able to get your hand underneath and look at this side of it. You need to see that this is all good. This car has actually been undersealed by us at the customer's request, so it's looking very nice under here, but there's no signs of any rust. Again, that's nice. It's all looks good around here. Basically no issues to worry about. The silver car, very different story. Again, it's something you would have been very easy to check underneath, just when the car's on the ground, just get your hand underneath. It's a good push in this area. If it's starting to crack, or if you can find a hole, you know you've got some issues to deal with. Okay, we're now looking at the driver's side of the silver car. We cut this open a couple of weeks ago, and this is what we found. Pretty much what we expected, to be honest with you. You can see what had happened before was a panel had been welded straight over the top of the original outer wing, which is what we can see here. This actually continued to about here somewhere, and then carried on up, and it actually carries on all the way around the arch. So there you can see where it is overlapping. That's a new panel coming to about here somewhere, and then you can see the thickness of filler that they needed to use to try and hide that. Then the sill end plate received a patch around about here, and then another one down there, and it's gone even more further in. The structural seal, which is this section here, that would have come down here and then formed the lip below. You can see how rotten that is. All needs completely cutting out and rebuilding from around about this point back. You've got the inner seal, this inner section here, and then there's a rear box section there. So we're talking about 3 sections before you even get to the outer. So, you know, when you're coming to look at, when you're looking at MX5s, and you're seeing signs, some of the signs that we've already pointed out to show that it's had a repair in the past. If there's rust that's starting, or some of those other signs are starting to come through again, you need to be thinking about not buying that car, because although repairs can be done correctly, when you start to see what we've shown, you're looking at a car that hasn't been repaired properly. So you need to either be getting that car very cheap or walking away from it and trying to find something closer to what the red one's like. An MX5 tends to rust first at the seals, so if you're looking at one that's like the red one, you're seeing all those spot welds, but you're seeing rust starting to come through on the bottom of the seal, that's a better situation than this silver one, because that's a much easier repair to deal with. Well, that concludes our look at Mk1 MX5 seals. Thanks for watching. I'm going to be trying to do more of this sort of thing with MX5s and other cars, so subscribe and hopefully we can help you out if you're looking to buy an MX5.